So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all for today's webinar on connected process development through a unified digital platform. Emphasis is on materials, data and actionable insights, brought to you by Indian Chemical News, India's #1 portal on chemical, petrochemical and energy, and Revvity signals. So let me take you to the speakers who will be speaking today. We have Mr. Dr. Shirish Thakre. He is the President, Fiber and Chemical Research, Aditya Birla Group. A brief on Dr. Thakre. He leads an enterprise R&D, driving innovation-led research programs spanning Aditya Birla cellulosic fibers, chemicals, textile technology platforms, translating innovation into strong commercial and strategic business impact in the thrust areas of process intensification, sustainability, digitalization, new products, and new chemistry materials. He is responsible for the development of the vision and strategy of ABSTC, Aditya Birla Group, as part of the leadership team. Thank you, Dr. Shirish Thakre.
Thank you very much.
Speaker Dr. Prahlad Sharma, Senior Vice President and Head of R&D, Naveen Fluorine International. He is a distinguished chemistry professional with expertise in industrial research and development, process chemistry, fluorine technologies, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and advanced materials. Additionally, he completed emerging leaders training at Indian Institute of Management, Udaipur, strengthening his leadership and strategic management capabilities. Thank you, Dr. Prahlad Sharma.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Mr. Ramesh Dham, Senior General Manager, Digital and IT, Coromandel International. He is a digital transformation leader and ensures seamless implementation and adoption of digital tools, optimizing performance and fostering innovation. With over 2 decades of experience in chemical industry, Dham is proficient in R programming, Aviva PI, Seek Analytics, OT security architecture, industrial IoT, Industry 4.0, AI, machine learning, and cloud technologies. Thank you, Mr. Ramesh Dhamji.
Thank you very much.
Next is Mr. Deepak Keni, Executive Vice President, Digital Strategy and Transformation, DFPCL. He is based out of corporate office in Pune. He has a responsibility to lead digital strategy and transformation and change management initiatives, including digital transformation that create sustainable value for organization. He leads the development and delivery of specialist capabilities like digital IoT, analytics and technology, and AgTech partnerships, startup and ventures to support businesses by leading implementation of special project enablers. Thank you, Mr. Deepak Keni.
Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Gaurav Vyas, Lead Strategy Director's Office, AVP, Reliance Industries. He's focusing on digitization initiatives for RIL O2C business. He's seasoned a manufacturing professional with hands-on experience on working in various capacities in management consulting, integrated oil companies, oil and gas, downstream, and engineering design organization. Thank you, Gauravji, for joining this webinar. Last but not the least, Dr. Manish M. Khandagle, Senior Field Application Specialist, Revvity Signals. He has extensive experience in pharmaceutical R&D and technical customer support roles in analytical instruments and scientific software industry. He is responsible for providing technical and strategic support to drive the mission of empowering scientists to make data-driven decisions by utilizing our best-in-class informatics solution. So if you see, we have 2 scientists from the scientist fraternity. Then from the IT side, we have 4 people from the IT side. So it's a mix of, or it's a convergence of R&D and IT that we have taken this topic. So this is the key discussion point. Focus on current process R&D landscape and data challenges, best practices for digital transformation, value of unified workflows for collaboration, traceability, and knowledge sharing, role of visual analytics in enabling faster data-driven decisions, significance of AI-ready data for advanced insights, and business impact, which focuses on improved process understanding and faster development. So we have this ICN Play and Win contest for the delegates. About the contest, the moderators will be asking questions from the audience during the course of the session, and the one who responds first with the correct answer stands eligible for winning rupees 1000 gift voucher from Amazon. All the questions will be asked by the moderator of the session, and replies need to be given in the chat window. I repeat, the reply need to be given in the chat window box of your respective screen on Zoom platform. Final winners will be announced at the close of the e-conference session today at 4:30 p.m. Terms and conditions. Only the person with the correct answer responding first in order of priority shall be declared winner. Organizers and sponsor partner employees are not eligible to participate in the contest. Organizer decisions to be treated as final in the case of any discrepancies. Gift vouchers to be sent electronically to all the winners post completion of the session. So the last slide, which is on the page views of 240,000 users, 102,000, newsletter 59,000, open rate of 30%, click rate of 8%. LinkedIn followers, we have reached 89,606. So this is the slide from my side. I would request a presentation from Dr. Manish Khandagle. So he's going to give his presentation. So I would now request Dr. Manish to give his presentation on this topic. Just a brief on Manishji. He's a senior field application specialist at Revvity Signals, extensive experience in pharmaceutical R&D and technical customer support roles in analytical instruments and scientific software industry, and responsible for providing technical and strategic support to drive mission of empowering scientists to make data-driven decisions. Over to you, Manishji.
Thank you, Pravinji. Thank you, Pravinji. And thank you all for joining this session today. Okay. Let me share my screen. So good afternoon all. Thank you for joining this session. Okay. And in this session, I'll be showing some of the use cases basically around process R&D, how we can standardize data, use it for analytics, and explore some AI possibilities. So emphasis more on how a connected system can help you in get better insights. Okay. And when we talk about process R&D, in general, like these organizations generate enormous amount of data, and different stakeholders are involved throughout this product life cycle, right? From bench scientists, R&D managers till plant managers. They all have different data expectations to make right decisions, and unfortunately most of this data remains into siloed systems, in Excel sheets, in PDFs, share folders, and which causes a lot of issues in data accessibility. Often the knowledge is lost, it's difficult to access or reuse, which cause delays, the higher cost, poor decisions. So these challenges, we are well aware of this, and that's the reason there is a need to move for a unified digital platform that connects people, processes, workflows, materials together. And when all this information is connected together, easily accessible, that can start transforming it into kind of organizational knowledge that you can reuse. And some of examples, what you can see is, let's say, the process R&Ds, they accumulate huge amount of scientific data over the years, and which they would like to repurpose. They would like to, instead of starting from the scratch, they would like to use this existing knowledge. And this is how they can have all their organizational data, whether it's about the products they make or the processes they develop, that can be grouped together into kind of dendrogram here, and each branch of this dendrogram represents those structurally similar products or those processes, and they can quickly look into those products or how these similar structures influence the key process parameters of process KPIs such as yield, purity, or atom economy. These are some of the key KPIs that process R&D people would like to see. And even before they start their project, they can look at how it has changed over the period, what historical data suggests, what are the different patterns they have. They can understand the process complexities, which are areas where can be more time consuming, or it can help them in making strategic decisions in the beginning of the project itself. right? So they can understand the delays, the various bottlenecks across the project, and that can help them in project initiation. But when it comes to the down the line, when it comes to the scientists should be able to easily access the data. So as it shows here, they can go at a project level data and look at whether similar kind of molecule has been made before or the product has been developed before, and quickly access the historical experimental knowledge. So rather than starting from the scratch, they can build upon the existing knowledge here. Okay, so that can save a lot of time from right, instead of starting from the scratch. Further, when a scientist starts working on a project, it's important that in this case was to optimize the yield of a stereoisomer Z isomer, which is coming out of this process, and hundreds of experiments were performed. DOE kind of study was performed, and as you can see, more than 32 ligands were screened along with the different conditions like the catalyst loading, reaction temperature, and at the end, looking at all this data, scientists needs to make a better decision. What is the best combination that can give me optimum yield of the stereoselective reaction, for example, Z isomer? And that's where they can bring all this data together into a single interactive interface where they can look at the bar charts shows the yield of Z isomer, and all this scatter chart shows the influence of various parameters and how their combination influence the effect of this yield. So they can interact with, look at which are the experiments are giving highest yield, what were the conditions, and that's how it can help them in narrowing down their experimental space. They can explore the three-dimensional space, and it can minimize the number of experiment iterations they need to do. Okay, so that can save time and give more accuracy in their results. Having all this, like they can start from the knowledge reuse at the starting of the projects. They can optimize their processes down the line when the processes moves from lab to, let's say, plant. In this case, once it goes to plant, it becomes more critical to evaluate cost, safety, supply risk, or any potential bottlenecks that can impact time to market or the profitability. And this is where you can see like how plant operators or decision makers, they can get quick visibility into the various cost contributors. So various cost contributors either at a step level or at the final product level, whether it is from the solvents, individual reagents, or the particular reaction vessels, or the labor that is required in this process. So that's how they can bring in all this data, and they can see how much particular solvent cost to that particular step, what is the contribution of labor into that particular step or in overall process. Are there any safety risks associated with specific chemical or anything that is that needs to be replaced as it is not a favorable chemical? So that kind of insights they can get from here. To have all these kind of insights, of course, this gives a lot of actionable insights, but this is only possible when the underlying data that is captured is a structured, is a contextual, and it's easily accessible across entire development life cycle, right? And this is where a digital foundation becomes critical by connecting materials, experimental data, process data, people, their workflow, organization-wide can ensure that every activity that contributes to this product is easily searchable, and they can build upon that. And that's where it highlights the importance of this underlying structured data. And that's where we as a signals platform, we help in this. So it can start right from looking at the materials. So even in a planning phase, so to have the material insights on it for a decision makers, it is important that scientists have quick access to materials. They have the visibility on materials. Where are the materials that are required? What are the safety concerns? Or they should be able to easily order, request those materials. So how efficiently they can access those materials, or they can register those in-house compounds that are made, how they can register their IPs. So this is a critical step in data capture when it comes to material or in the initial planning phase. So this is how this inventory can help them in managing all this material. It's not only the materials, but this inventory or the materials needs to be part of their scientific workflow. It needs to be integrated in their workflow. So as they go into lab and perform their experiments, the inventory and the experimental workflows and processes should not be isolated. It should go hand in hand. So this is how they can record all their experiments. They can interact with inventory to bring the materials that are required so that they can track consumption of those materials, or they can handle all the collaborative workflows within the same platform. So sending test requests or handling raw material analysis. So this kind of collaborative tasks they can handle in one place. When it comes to process R&D side, it can be used. So let's have a quick glimpse into a live system. Since we have seen a couple of snippets and some PPTs, let me give you a quick glimpse into a live system. So I'll from here for a while I'll switch to my live system here. Okay. So this is Signals platform where you can see this is one typical experiment, and this is how, let's say, scientists at a bench level, they can capture all their experiments with minimum manual entries. So it can have the chemical intelligence, so it can read all the structures and science behind it, and it can fulfill it. They can talk to their inventory right from the experiment level. For example, in this case, they are looking for some material. So whatever materials they require, they can straight away go to inventory, check where that container that is required, what that container includes, what are the expiry date of that material, is there any safety concern for that material. So that's how they can access all this inventory material right from the experimental space. They can process scientists can record, when they record their process data sheets, they can bring those materials and track their consumptions right there, so that at the end they can look at overall cost that are involved in making this product. They can create various samples, and let's say in this case they are looking at quality target profiles. For example, they are looking at overall conversion, purity, assay, and yield. This kind of information they are looking at. They can perform all these experimental procedures, record all this data, whether it's coming from chromatography or many different instruments they use. All this instrumental analysis data they can bring. And now then finally, if they have to make use of this data, they can publish this data. So this is the data which is available, and they can simply publish this data so that it can go to a central data repository where it can get indexed. So they can select what information from the experiments I need to publish, and they can select and publish this information, and that can be recorded. Okay, these are all information coming from this particular experiment, that after every experiment they can publish this kind of information, which at decision level scientists can perform global search and then retrieve all the information here. Okay, so simply they can look at the subset of data. They can perform global search and look at the subset of data that is required, and then that data can be visualized in interactive dashboards, as I showed in the beginning. So it can be different use cases. So in this case, they would like to see which are the experiments are giving better quality target profiles, and look at all those conditions, right? So here, instead of taking IT help, where IT can help in data aggregation and cleaning, the system takes care of that, where you can publish this data, look at all the data that has been that is coming from experimental level. So here it shows, okay, this is the one experiment which has been performed, and this data has been come, and they can interact with this data. So this is how it can help right from data capture to decision support. And let me go back to my screen quickly. And so what it shows is this is how you can capture all this data in structured order. And whether it can be different measurements, experimental contents and tables, various materials. All that data you can publish into a central repository where it gets indexed, and then scientists can perform a global search based on their data requirements, and they can visualize in interactive dashboards. So data analytics is something which shows you data. It allows you in making right decisions based on this interactive dashboards. But beyond that, it's not only about looking at analytics. It having this structured data also opens a lot of AI possibilities, right? So nowadays, everywhere we see everyone is using AI in their day-to-day life, right? From ChatGPT to various applications. And why not having it in science? Okay. And that's where it also opens AI possibilities. We are continuously working on adding various AI capabilities, having LLM models, the chat agents, or those can summarize your experiments or suggest new experiments, help in enhancing your operations, like looking at user metrics, some scientific AI ML model based solutions that we are developing, which can help in suggesting, recommending new reaction. And look at all these experiments that have been performed for this particular molecule, and they can create a summary. So AI summarizing assistant can create summary of this experiment and then write it back into your experimental page. Or it can be something like, I would like to ask question, okay, can you give me overall report of all the experiments that I have performed this year? Having all this data indexed in a structured order, system can go back and retrieve additional experiments. Okay, so these are the kind of use cases we are looking at. Or you can have hundreds of experiments and ask a system to create me a flow chart out of all those experiments, create or connect the dots, showing who is a succeeding, what is a succeeding experiment, preceding experiment. So it arrange all those stepwise, and that's how it can identify the context, relevance, and then fetch all this data and give this kind of reports to you. So when we look at all this data, so this kind of analytics or AI possibilities are only possible when you have a connected data environment. And our vision is to provide connected scientific ecosystem where the data, scientific workflows, AI analytics, all should work seamlessly together. And scientists should not have to navigate here and there to multiple systems. They should have one single system where they can easily, trustfully, they can access the information and make decisions. And this is where the Signals platform provides an integrated foundation for connecting experiments, materials, analytics, as well as the valuable knowledge that is coming out of your data. So Revvity Signals offers this unified cloud native platform, which can be used, which supports entire product lifecycle, right from the synthesis, process, material sciences to formulations, ir irrespective of the workflows or scientific domain. This platform can help you from the designing and making stage to decision making. Okay, and it offers various tools. For example, like the ChemDraw, which is a gold standard in chemical drawing. Over 40 years of scientists are using this one, which helps in drawing, not only drawing structure, but brings chemical intelligence. Signals Notebook is which helps scientists in their day-to-day activities to record all their scientific experiments, collaborate, manage all the materials. Signals One, which brings this advanced data analytics as well as AI possibilities. Many companies, they work with third parties or CROs, collaborators. So in that case, how you can share data with collaborators or third parties, that becomes critical. And that's where Signal Synergy, which is more of the collaboration platform, how you can deal with multiple parties while securing a data. So that's where Signal Synergy comes in picture. Spotfire is advanced data analytics platform. So everything what we have seen is built upon Spotfire data analytics capabilities. So that's how Signals platform supports across the product life cycle. Okay, it can help in accelerating innovation, connecting data. It provides intuitive workflows, and it's like it's not only about the tools. We are continuously adding a lot of other possibilities which can help scientists in connecting their data workflows and decision support. Okay, and with this, as a Revvity signals, as a our role as in a digital platform digital transformation, we have over 1 million users worldwide, over 35 years of experience in the industry, and more than 4,000 customers, which includes more than 16 of top chemical companies and 6 of top 20 agrochemical companies, and so on. I can add, we support various markets, right from life sciences, specialty chemicals, food, fragrances, agrochemicals, or even battery research. So irrespective of the scientific discipline, wherever there is a R&D research involved, workflows involved, we support. And these are some of our key customers in India as well as global customers. And we are happy to hear more from more from you during this session or following this session. Please reach out to us, and let's let's move to a panel discussion to hear more from our industry experts, industry leaders, about their views on digital transformation. What is the current state of industry, and then how we can make this journey easier to have more to be able to make intelligent decisions. So let's hear from our panelists.
Thank you, Dr. Manish Khandagle, for your presentation. Before we jump to the panel discussion, let me pose some quiz questions to our delegates out there. So the first quiz question on your screen right now, and I would request all of you to please write your answers, which is a MCQ kind of a quiz question. So on your chat window, and whoever writes the correct answer first will be the winner. So the ICN Play and Win contest, the first question coming up on your screen right now. Why is inventory data important beyond material tracking? So now around 41 responses I can see on my screen, and more are yet coming in. Now I move to the second part, which is second part of the question. Question number 2. What is the primary purpose of Signals Notebook? A. Create executive dashboards. Build AI models. C. Capture and manage scientific work and collaboration. And D. Optimize manufacturing operations. I still see some answers coming up. So we come to the last, the third question. What is the biggest barrier to leveraging AI effectively in process R&D today? I repeat, what is the biggest barrier to leveraging AI effectively in process R&D today? A. Lack of AI tools. B. Limited computing power. C. Disconnected and difficult to access scientific data. And D. Too much experimental data. So now we are over with the quiz questions. We will announce the winners at the last end of the after the panel discussion. So we come to the panel discussion right away, and our panelists are Dr. Shirish Thakre, President of Aditya Birla Chemicals. He takes care of fiber and chemical research. Dr. Prahlad Sharma, Senior VP and Head of R&D, Navin Fluorine International. Mr. Ramesh Dham, Senior General Manager, Digital and IT, Coromandel International. Mr. Deepak Keni, Executive Vice President, Digital Strategy and Transformation, DFPCL. Mr. Gaurav Vyas, Lead Strategy Director's Office, AVP and Reliance Industries. Dr. Manish M. Khandagle, Senior Field Application Specialist, Revvity Signals. And I will be moderating this session. So we have chosen around 7 questions, and I would request all of you to be precise. And if somebody has already given their views. So if you can add on that, that would be great. The topic that is for the webinar is connected process development through a unified digital platform, materials, data, and actionable insights. And those who are having Q&A questions, please pose them so that we can take it up after the panel discussion. The first question to Dr. Shirish Thakreji, how would you describe current state of digitalization in process R&D within your industry segment? And how do you look at it from an experimentation part, from data modeling, scale up, and analytical perspective? And what has improved significantly over the last decade in terms of cost benefit analysis, and where do you see the gap areas? So over to Dr. Shirish Thakreji.
Sorry. Thank you, Pravinji. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's great to be part of this forum. So I will answer this question by giving the context that, Aditya Birla Group is into multiple manufacturing and non-manufacturing businesses. So and Aditya Birla Science and Technology company is a corporate R&D, so we work across our manufacturing businesses. And if I basically want to look at the complexity in terms of adopting the digitalization, I will say we are into metals, copper and aluminum, where we operate at high temperatures. It's a mature technology, but a high temperature industry. Then we are into carbon black and cement and fibers, where we are handling complex materials. And then there is a solution where we are looking into the multi-phase type of system. So complexity-wise, I would say they vary from industry to industry. And specific to the inorganic and organic industry, in reference to the questions being discussed here, is that in inorganic industry we basically work on the chlorine-based chemistries and the phosphates. In petroleum industry, we are basically connected to the epoxies and the nylon. So type of work that we basically work on from the ABSTC point of view, as an R&D, we basically work on two areas. One is development of a new process, mainly into specialty, and to some extent also into the large-scale commodity product. Second thing is on the process improvement that we do with the manufacturing. So the new process development is typically towards the product upgradation, development of a new product, backward integration to the existing product, or maybe basically looking into the greener chemistry. So that is basically the area that we focus on, the new process. The new process development typically happens from the lab to the pilot and to the commercial scale applications. So for a lab scale, we typically generate a data at a lab scale. We have a laboratory scale facilities. We also have pilot scale facility. And then analytical basically uses LIMS, which has been developed in-house as for the data storage and the data access. And again, on top of that, we also have a models being built. These are data-driven model, correlation-based models, or these are also simulation-based models. So at a lab scale, when you are looking into new process development, the data is being acquired from the lab. It's in the lab notebooks. Also, basically, it goes into online. Then we have process scale-up data coming from the pilot plant where we have SCADA system. And then we have models being built. So typically, when we are going from lab to the pilot to the commercial scale, we basically try to integrate all this information from the lab to the pilot. And also, in terms of the scale-up, we develop the models so that the scale-up point of view, basically, there is an ease, and we don't have to do a multiple level scale-up. We can basically reduce the the development in terms of the scale-up. So what has that led to is basically it has led to reduction in the cost, because we are reducing the multiple iteration in terms of the experiments that we have to do in terms of basic chemistry and basic engineering data. Pilot scale, again, we are basically doing advanced level of scale up, and then models are basically helping us in terms of at the equipment level and the process level, how the scale up will look like. So by this way, we have been able to accelerate our the scalability and the development cycle of from the lab to the commercial scale on the new process or new product that we are developing. Coming to the industrial scale implementation, the industrial scale problem is typically, yield improvement by around 15-20%, energy reduction, quality improvement. So these are some of the targets that basically our businesses have set as strategic areas to look into. And how we are integrated there is that we started very early in terms of the digital simulation. So we have a lot of simulation softwares like computational fluid dynamics, Aspen, and high temperature magnetohydrodynamics softwares, which we have been using for almost 10 to 15 years now. So we are already basically into the digital mode in terms of using the digital simulation models that way. What we have been able to do is that we have been able to integrate these models. This is a simulation model, which are physics-based model, along with the data that comes from the plant, and also has been able to build the AI/ML framework on top of it. So how this works is that at a plant level, it basically works on both the fronts. At the plant level, we have basically moved from the log sheet based data to analog and digital based more data. That's the one transformation we got. With the DCS, we also got an historian. So the historian basically takes the data, plant data from the DCS, and from the historian, we basically get this information all the way coming to the R&D, which basically goes into our models, whether it's a database model or it is a digital simulation in terms of CFD Aspen, or it is also an AI/ML. So this information and this integration we have been able to develop over a period of time in a phase-wise manner. And as a result of that, all the models and this entire experimental framework, as well as the modeling framework and process data based models that we developed, we were able to integrate. And depending on what is the requirement and the target we are having, we have been able to deploy this in the plants, and they are basically being used now in the plant either in the form of a dashboard or either in terms of giving the intelligence guidance to the manufacturing. So this is what has been our basically journey, and this has basically resulted into almost around 15% of our reduction in the energies, the quality improvement, where we got a positive feedback from the customer. At the same time, there also has been a capacity enhancement in some of the areas.
After listening to Dr. Shirish Thakre, now we come back to the challenges part of it, and we would like to listen from Ramesh Dhamji. What are the significant challenges that you are facing in managing and leveraging R&D data across product development life cycle? And from a business perspective, what are the biggest consequences of fragmented data and disconnected workflows in process R&D, and the challenges related to data security and data governance? So, Ramesh ji.
Thank you very much, Naveen. So, Mr. Praveen, as we have lots of different R&D and BU across the India. We have our nano R&D, nanotechnology R&D. We have crop protection R&D. Crop protection, like we have two types of crop protection R&D also. And we have our fertilizer R&D. We have our bio R&D in Kudlur. So there are lots of R&D section that we have, but these all R&D works in a silo. So we do have some of the like digital intervention, not much. We have some of the American journals. So what I was telling, having different set of multiple R&D sections. So the most complex section right now is the nano fertilizer. So nano fertilizer, how much complex workflow and highly specialized data is required in nano fertilizer. So we are facing challenge of managing that data into spreadsheet and paperwork. So this is the main critical challenge that we are facing right now. And one thing is due to paperwork and putting all the experiment design into the spreadsheet and paper, about 60 to 70 percent of our time of our scientists is going to putting all the data into the paper, then getting the correlation, formatting the data, structuring the data. 60 to 70% of the time going into that only. uh, that should be gone into the research analysis, but actually that time is going into paperwork. So that is the critical parameter. And we also found like there is no standard nomenclature across all the R&D centers. So one R&D center, like right now, earlier we were having the crop protection unit of Coromandel itself. Now we have acquired NACL also. So there is no standard nomenclature which data cannot be utilized from one R&D center to the another R&D center. So for that, we are looking for like, okay, what result it is giving, like the loss that we are getting. One experiment, if it is okay, then it is coming as a physical product. But the backend experimental data behind that one particular successful product, the 99% of the data that is there in the backend that we cannot able to utilize. So this is the main problem. And now what we are looking for to integrate our process data. Right now we establish historian across the plant very well. So LIMS we are about to establish, and electronic laboratory notebook we are taking for all our lab for the standardizing data. So the connection between LIMS and ELN, we are making a unified platform where all the data will sit, and we can easily integrate all the lab data into one particular unified platform. So this is the challenge. And the security part anyhow, when there is no nomenclature between, or there is no integration between LIMS process data and our ELN. So scientist has to stitch all this data from one platform to the another platform, and this actually result in the loss of particular data points and loss of result. So all these things we are trying to accommodate with the help of one unified platform, and hopefully in next 3 months we will get that platform. But this is the critical challenge that we are facing right now in the
So thank you, Rameshji. Now I come to Dr. Thackeray. Sir, you talked about the milestones that you have already done, that you have achieved in your initial talk that you gave. Will you talk about what you plan to achieve? What is your future plan, sir?
So I think we have made a good journey, a digital transformation journey, which was not very straightforward, and it has happened over the years with the development happening in terms of the putting the hardware in the manufacturing, as well as also automating and integrating the system at R&D level, and then finally deploying our models and all our know-how at the plant level directly into DCS. But I think this is a journey. We have been able to do so in so from the data analyst point of view. If you basically if you are looking outside your core manufacturing into supply chain and logistics, I think here we have done very well in terms of quickly adopting the data analytics and basically putting in the systems and models over there. When it comes to the core manufacturing, we have basically get enter into complexity, because we are now dealing with multiple material side of challenges. Then there is the flow related challenges, then the high temperature challenges. So it is still a journey, and therefore I believe that the milestone that we achieved was in the systems like, we were able to do this digitalization in the reactors, in the dryers and evaporators, where systems were less complex as compared to the material handling part of it. Wherever there is a high temperature, where there is a lack of sensors, we have there is a lack of generating an experiment data, and you have to rely mostly on the model, and this model has to be thoroughly validated. So, given these challenges, I think that there is still a scope and a milestone to achieve in terms of how we basically do the digitalization of the core process or the complex processes where you have multiple things happening in one particular equipment. Second thing is that how do we integrate the multiple system, because we are talking about physics based model, we are talking about database model, we are talking about AI/ML model. How do we integrate this, keep it basically more and more seamless and try to implement at the plant level? That's the second level, I think, milestone which we are working on going forward, and so that we make a digital twin, a virtual digital twin. And I think third thing and very important thing is that basically how do we create an awareness, more and more awareness on adopting the digital tools and techniques. How do we educate the manufacturing so that all this eventually, or basically, in fact, even for the new process development, how do we accelerate the new process development by adopting more and more digital mindset? So I think these are still, I will say, a work in progress, and the eventual aim will be to automate the R&D part of it, also automate the application of R&D and the solution into the industry. So that is something which I believe is a work in progress for us.
Thank you, Dr. Thackeray. Before we move to the next set of speakers, Gaurav ji, Deepak ji, and Dr. Manish, let me take the poll question to understand what kind of experiments people are doing and whether they are recording or not. So my first poll question on the screen would be, how are laboratory experiments and records primarily documented in your organization? So here we are trying to understand whether it is mostly manual, A, paper, spreadsheets and shared drives, B, a mix of digital but still soil, C, advanced, which is centralized, searchable and integrated, and D, unsure or / depends on team or site. Let me project the second poll question. This is about which of the following best describes your organization's biggest digital transformation priority. A, transitioning from paper to ELN. B is integrating ELN limbs and instruments. C, enhancing collaboration and knowledge sharing. And D, enabling AI ML for decision making. So let me now move to the fourth one, and here the focus is on how important is establishing a single source of truth for experimental and process knowledge, and what does that mean in practical terms for the organization. So I would request Gaurav Vyasji, Deepak Keniji, and Dr. Manish M. Khandagle to speak. First in order is Mr. Gaurav Vyas.
Thank you, Praveen for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to tell that I don't come from a R&D organization, and maybe I will relate the things from refining world. And however, anyone can stop me at any point of time, and I would be happy to take any questions in between or anything. So, in terms of single source of truth, be it any organization, it's not just a data hygiene nicety. It is very important and forms a backbone or a foundation for any digital transformation, because in a digital transformation, it is more like a samudra manthan. So if we do not have a right foundation or a say, single source of truth. So instead of instead of having Amrit out of this transformation, you can get halahal from the Samudra Manthan. So this is just not just you cannot have a digital transformation without a single source of truth. And it is like when you have 6 blind people and you ask everyone to touch and say about an elephant. A planning will say touch tail and say something. Production will tell something, or maybe team like R&D will tell something else. So somebody would point to tail, somebody would say convince that it's a wall, and everyone is honest and everyone is impartial, but nobody is actually seeing the whole elephant. So this is why a single source of truth is required to have a homogeneous view of everything what is happening in the business. And particularly it is important in the refining world that yields are tuned to the plant conditions, and our scientists are also working on this set of data which is actual plant data and which is tuned to our latest catalysts and things available in the market, and what we have actually bought. And this is why, like, it is important to establish a single source of truth which is based on real plant conditions or real conditions which we are having. More than a single source of truth, from an IT perspective, I see that it is a governance thing. That when we go on embark on a digital transformation, it is not just about a platform or a tool, what explained by Revvity, but I also feel that we have to establish a process in which every set of data has a one permanent owner, and that decides that what is the right data, and rest everyone takes data from that source. So if we are talking about a production data, anyone from the production team would be responsible for keeping that data lake fresh. It's not just that we create a whole data lake, churn the whole ocean, and suddenly we'll get the right data. But one has to be accountable for a particular data, and that makes the source of truth or single source of truth actually functional. So this is my take on it. Why in 1990s and into 2010 we were focusing more on the hardware part or on location part, or maybe lowest capex per ton, or things like this, focusing on automation. By 2020s and 2010s we had more focus on the technology catalyst, superior technology, both in terms of R&D and or in terms of IT or automation point of view. But what I see is from 2020 to 2030, what will differ is what will make business different is intelligent density. Who makes the best decisions per hour? Who runs their assets best? Who makes more money per rupee of feedstock by use of intelligence? So it's not just the dollar per barrel in terms of crude, but it is the intelligence density which will create the difference. And lastly, like in if I talk about single source of truth, it is a thing which will make your IT foundation or your digital transformation make or break. If we don't fix the mess, it just industrializes it, or it maximizes it. In one line, we should treat it as a technology project, and if foundation is not right, we cannot compound or make a building over it. And it quietly adds or leaks if we do not build the right foundation. So this is what I believe, that it is very important to have a right single source of truth. We are when we are creating any solutions, digital twin should talk with historian should talk with SAP should talk right with the finance data, and then we have to keep everyone accountable for a one set of data. If I talk about in the your context, which is R&D, if we are having a single source of truth, a right set of data to work upon, which is from limbs or for plant, so scientists will have a greater clarity, and they will actually not spend more time in cleaning the data, but uh, reaping the benefits of AI and just monitoring what is coming right out of AI, and also using their mind when it is not predicting right. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you, Gauravji. Deepak sir, if you can add some additional things that Gaurav talked about.
Yes, thank you. So I think Gauravji had explained a lot of things from a foundational perspective. Maybe I'll contextualize it and not repeat some things from R&D and our chemical process perspective, right? So I think one thing from my own viewpoint, while the definition of single source of truth, I think is not just about database, right? Yes, data is the foundation of all it, but the organization will benefit the most if we can look at it as a memory of the organization. Why are we doing all this? So that we can learn things, probably not repeat the same mistakes, and then later, of course, we tried it, why we tried it, what happened, what we learned from it, and what we should do next, right? I think the data should stitch the story, tell this picture, and of course, with AI and ML, it can help else you predict things, right? So that is the context I want to raise, that it's not just about the database. It should be looking at governed memory of the organization. So the context, then it becomes more important of not just collecting data, but contextualizing it. And I think Revvity also mentioned that we need to contextualize the data in practical terms. It means in one governed place, one connected architecture. I think architecture is very important, and architecture breaks across. If you look at the standard definition from an enterprise architecture, not just from the business process or the technology or the systems, but also data, right? So unless you stitch all these together, I think the single source of truth or the data will not tell you the true picture. Obviously, from an R&D perspective, when we look at connected architecture, there are a lot of elements to that. Some which we try to track and trace is about experimental objectives, the recipes or the versions, the raw materials which have been used, the batch details, the process parameters, the results during those after the experimentation, what deviations were there, what are the observations, the learnings, and then the final conclusions, right? So obviously then there are more and more which every context or every organization will have. But how do we kind of bring all that into perspective, capture the data, the context, the metadata, and it is not necessary that I think everybody talked about integrating stuff, right? And sometimes it's not about integrating stuff to create one large, huge monolithic application, or even a huge like a lake house or a database or data warehouse, which everybody's creating these days. But I think we need to be smart and intelligent into say what is more relevant and contextual, because while there are independent systems which collect data, nowadays the trend is to say let's bring all the data on one common platform, right? Yes, we also do that to some extent, but I think the smartness comes is not about replicating data, but ensuring what is getting relevant that can be stitched together and contextualized, so that data is not unnecessarily replicated and it makes sense. The applications are also lean. I mean, the processing power is also there, and you get better results faster. uh, there is obviously a high value of having trusted, structured, and contextual data, right? Which I said, but quality is of utmost importance. A lot of the times, the focus on quality becomes secondary. The garbage in, garbage out context, you must all have heard, right? It becomes more relevant because tomorrow, when AI/ML will try to get access to the data and use that, then there will be more hallucination, more challenges, and then the business will lose confidence on the data. The process owners will say it's all junk, right? So from that perspective, all important contextual meanings. From our own internal perspective, I think we have about 18 odd data sources we try to bring in one common platform. We continue to build more and more data sources, but it is not about replicating data. It's trying to say what relevant data can be brought on a unified connected platform on a connected architecture and then can be used for relevant business decisions. And ultimately, like I said in the beginning, to create a memory of the organization which can be accessed later by humans or robots or AI ML to help you in better decision making and insights of the future. So for now, I think I would like to pass on to the next candidate.
So thank you, Dr. Thank you, Kenny ji. I would now request Dr. Manish if you can add on.
Yeah, I think Gaurav ji and Kenish, they have covered most of things already. And yeah, as I said, single source of truth is yeah, it's getting more and more important, particularly when it comes to making scientific and process decisions. Okay, and these decisions are only as good as like what information available. So we have to make sure that information that is available for decision makers is a complete contextual. It is giving them a complete picture. It is all the information has been captured in well-connected, well-governed environment. And as mentioned already, it doesn't mean that you have to bring and put all data in one single place like a monolithic data source. There is no need to do the duplication of the work, duplication of the data, but we have to ensure that all the data systems are connected. There is a seamless flow of the information. It gives the complete picture. It's a trustful, reliable information so that decision makers can rely on that information and then they can take decision. And that's our vision, to provide a connected data system. So it's not only about bringing and dumping every single thing in one system, but having structured data capture, having connected systems, connecting data, materials, people, their workflows, processes across the life cycle, so that the data flows seamlessly and it can give you more intelligence, and more importantly, it is secure. It is governed environment, so that it's more trustful to make the decisions.
So thank you, Manish ji. So we have covered the current state of industry-specific data challenges. We have also talked about the digital transformation journey with terms of experiences, benefits, and lessons learned. Now we come to the third part, which is the future outlook. And before I come to the future outlook, let me come to the poll question, which is the number 3. I request Saurav if he can project it on the screen. And this question is about how ready are you to take the next step in digital transformation? Saurav, yeah. So you can see it on the screen. How ready are you to take the next step in digital transformation? And the options are: A, we see the need but haven't initiated formal efforts yet. B, we are exploring options and aligning internally. C, we are actively engaged and are already implementing new digital solutions. And D, not planned in the near term. So I would request all the delegates, participants to please give your choices. It's a MCQ question, A, B, C, D. So the first one is A, which is B, we see the need but haven't initiated formal efforts yet. B is we are exploring options and aligning internally. C, we are actively engaged and are already implementing new digital solutions. And D, not planned in the near term. So they will, the delegates will keep on posting their choices. Now we come to the future outlook, and here the focus is on exploring AI, advanced analytics, because these are the buzzwords that we are hearing. So let me ask Ramesh ji and Dr. Manish, and I would request your short answers for this. In your view, what foundations need to be in place before AI can deliver meaningful value in process R&D? Do you believe the industry is truly AI ready today, or are there still significant challenges around data quality, context, and accessibility? So apart from whatever you have said, if you can throw something different out here in this particular session of Future Outlook. So start with Ramesh Dham and then Dr. Manish M. Khandagle. Short answers.
Thank you, Praveen. The AI journey we have started in manufacturing, that is now a little longer. We started 3 to 4 years ago. R&D, we are like about to start all these things, but the AI that we have started in manufacturing, I'll give the example of that so that we can understand what are the hurdles and how we have to be a AI ready company. So right now in manufacturing, in labs, we have multiple AI models are working. Mainly, they are soft sensors. So where we are predicting the quality before the lab result come. So 3 hour, 4 hour before the nutrient value of the output. If we are predicting what should be the parameter output after 3 hour, we are making with the help of parameter we are making the ML model which is predicting and giving even though not the predicted result but some of the prescription also to the operator to run the plant better. But what is required to make that company AI ready, uh, I must say there are three foundation pillars that we need to have. One is the standard nomenclature, the standard data, standard tags of each and every parameter should be there in every format. So say I'll give you the example of employee ID. So if you are logging in, punching in into your attendance, the same ID is applicable. If you are going for check your PF and everything, same ID will applicable. If you are going for any of the industrial application, your HR application, same ID will be applicable. The same thing will work in the process tags also, the tags of experiment also. If you are making in a different application, the same tag, same ID should be there for each and every process tag. So I'll give you in a 3D format. So first D is data capture at source. Wherever data is happening, it should not come via to the system. Like somebody is capturing, somebody is sending on phone call, somebody is writing on the system. So data should be captured at source. The second is dematerialization. Each and every paper source you have to dematerialize. Wherever it can be done digital, you have to make it into the digital. And third D is database. Anything that is monitoring you have to take into the database. Then only then only you can do any of the AI experiment on the top of that. So that 3D concept, if we utilize, then we can have a better foundation for our AI.
Thank you, Mr. Ramesh Dham. Now I request Dr. Manish if you can add on whatever Ramesh ji has already said.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, many organizations, even when we talk to them, always the conversation starts with AI ML possibilities and whether AI ML can suggest me this condition, so it can be more suggestive or predictive. And that's how the conversation starts mostly with the technology, but we have to check the ground reality. So many times we see like the foundation is not strong. They have not yet moved their data on a digital system, and then you expect system to provide AI ML. So we also need to understand like what are the different building blocks of this AI/ML before you get any of this predictive, suggestive recommendations from AI. You have to start right from the bottom from your raw data. Then, as Ramesh ji mentioned, it's not only raw data, but you have to have connected structured data. You have to knowledge map it. You have to build ontology on that. You need to have your model. LLM model you can have, then you can have the integration with some assistant. So there are various layers. So like you can have more value in AI only with increasing data maturity. You need to mature data. So always a future outlook. Of course, AI ML is a
Let me come to Dr. Prahlad Sharma. Sir, you have been listening very attentively to all the speakers. So, and we are posing you a futuristic question. Looking ahead 5 years, how do you envision scientists interacting with the data, digital tools, and AI in the R&D environment? Or do we see robots doing experiments instead of scientists? Because in the manufacturing side, we have seen industrial robots actively creeping in. So what advice would you give to chemical and petrochemical organizations, and also small and large companies that are just beginning their digital transformation journey in R&D? Should they straight away move to the new thing, or what they should do, sir?
So thank you, Prashanti, putting it across, very interesting question. A future perspective of, unified digital platform implementation in the agrochemical, specialty chemical or petrochemical industries. Let me start with, we are not going to change our scientists into the, computer engineers. They will remain scientists only because chemistry will be done by scientists. But of course, this digital platform creation and as many of the panel member have put a lot of efforts and things clarification on the data authorization or data governance. What is the right data actually we are going to collect it? So very first point is, if we are collecting right data in the coming few years, industry will be moving from this current state of process development, process transfer and manufacturing to a next level. What would be that next level? Probably I can imagine that scientist who is entering into the industry, they are getting training for the handling of the chemical, process innovation, literature search, and then process development. But probably add on that coming days when scientists will enter into the company, they will be coming up with some background wherein they will be understanding what is the right data which I will be capturing in the company for the process innovation or process development. So then a right data set, that single source of truth sort of thing can be created instead of, creating a huge lot of data. And its connection to engineers as well, because engineers also will be collecting the similar manner data. They will be coming with the technical background, but same time they must be understanding what is the data I would be capturing. So the first point is right data they will be capturing, and things will turn in a different way. Scientists will be thinking more on hypothesis, but the daily reporting of the data, recording of the experiments, and then visualization of the what could be done in the next experiment, that can lead to a shorter development time and those sort of stuff. Probably it's going to be changed. So in coming 5 years, or probably I would take it furthermore, scientists will be working parallelly on two important things. One is right data capturing, putting the hypothesis and getting it done work more scientifically, and that will be resulting out in a better outcome. And the daily routine work which we are capturing now in spreadsheet or probably in some or other way in silos, it would be in a digital platform, but it is not connected yet. So looking at the perspective of Indian companies and global scenarios, the company, they have initiated this sort of initiatives way back, probably 2 decades and so. In Indian context, it is probably more than a decade, probably 10 years. The understanding is changing, and days will come when scientists will be not only scientists, they will be more understanding about digital things. So they can use AI ML and give better output for their innovation and little faster way to develop the process, and that will result into good benefit to the companies and organizations.
Thank you, sir. Gauravji, Reliance has been very aggressive, and they always look at the future. And with Reliance Jio also in their portfolio, they look at future in a very big way. So what is your advice to, I think, the chemical companies, the petrochemical companies, whether it is big or small, and how should they begin their digital transformation journey?
Sure. So, in terms of digital transformation journey to start, I would say first we have to set up our North Star, that where we want to go. That destination need to be formed up first. What we want to achieve through digital transformation. Then next thing is we set the right org structure. And lastly, after the org structure, I would say data cleaning and setting up the data foundation right is utmost important. In bigger companies, it is a common phenomena that they decide the architecture and then vendors have to comply with that. While in a smaller companies, it is rather a easier way. They do not build and rather prefer to get a COT solution, and they just put that in the company, get the benefit, and use it for eternity. So either way, it is good whether you set the architecture and ask everyone to fit in it, or uh, get the best thing from the market and do a POC and scale it up. So both ways digital transformation works, and for smaller companies it's rather better to buy rather than build. And in terms of proprietary technology know-how or R&D, or particularly transformation in this aspect, I see that uh, you will shortly see that digital labs, or a place where we go, there are a lot many equipments which are science like equipments, a distillation column or various equipment. But now going ahead, we will see a lot of AI related equipments there, and scientists in future will have to be as fluent in AI as they are in their domain, and they need to catch up with AI, particularly on that part that where and what AI is predicting is wrong. So I see that scientists will be doing lot less manual work, but more work by their mind as we go further on AI. And this is where the difference will be, that AI will help you move up the chain from grading of your experiment to help you design them. And it will even propose formulation conditions, and scientists will bring their own judgment. That is the most precious thing. And automation will close the loop faster. Uh, Digital twin, historian, limbs, and any data you think of, they all will be closely integrated in future. And what I see is scientists have to use their mind, their judgment, their scientific temper in future more, rather than uh, depending on and sifting through the data. So the intelligence is where which will make the difference for the scientist. Just for anyone starting, I would say that foundation is something which comes before the fireworks. And AI on the fragmented data, it scales the chaos instead of fixing it. So we need to anchor it to real quantified pain, and not the just a noble cause of doing AI for the sake of AI. And we have to treat adoption as the hardest part, because tech rarely falls on its merits. It falls on trust, fit, and it splits by size. So if I talk about big companies, they should skip the heroic three years platform and land flat. Rather than they should pick up one place, one site, and scale it up. While the small companies, they can do the things at scale with already proven solutions. So if I should tell one line, that we have to set the data foundation right and make the scientist do the work of scientist, and make the trust work or data foundation early in the digital foundation, so that everything we want to do impressive is quietly gated by the process. And that's all. So if we do our homework right in the earlier stage of the digital transformation, it will land into Amrit from the Samudra Manthan, which I have told, rather than halal coming after 3 years. That's it.
Thank you, Gaurav. But After listening to
Yeah.
you, that scientists would not be worried because they also have to learn computer and AI and ML. So the question now comes to Deepak Kenny and Dr. Praladji is how do we manage this skill gap where these new scientists who are coming in, they are focusing also on process R&D and they are also utilizing R&D digitization to the best of them so that it benefits the scientific outcome.
So, sorry to interrupt, Praveenji. Not just they have to learn AI and ML, but pick up where AI, ML, or reinforcement learning is wrong. This will be the greatest skill of this for the scientist.
So the
And
real would be
yeah,
on seeing where AI and ML is going wrong and where they
yes,
the gray matter to correct it moving forward.
right.
So Deepak ji, your views,
Yeah.
short answers. This is the last question, and we have 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, so quickly, I think the definition of a R&D capability or a R&D scientist has to change from its core competency, right? So it's no longer a lab capability. It has to be looked at as enterprise capability. So right from, like we say, from the schooling days, what all is taught to the organization capability. So one is that as a just as a silo. Other is a lot of cross-functional breeding has to happen, right? Because from a process perspective, capability, yes, you can always look at building a connected R&D backbone to say that R&D is the backbone connecting everything. But then there have to be like hybrid roles, different cross-functional teams, like digital process scientists, maybe R&D data stewards. Some new roles have to be created which are hybrid. So from a business, from a domain, from a technology, from a data AI, so the skills and capabilities have to improve. And then institutionalizing these capabilities across the organization is very key, because otherwise in the short term it will work, but in the long term it may not. And then having an integrated build run operating model, I feel, so that it is sustainable. So in short, I would say ki the role of a scientist is changing. His capabilities have to evolve and change. The building blocks are there foundationally, but now they need to shift to the next level of organization capability.
And what about the role that you are performing, sir?
My role has to become like a change agent or an enabler, right? Because that is cutting across various layers of the organization. You cannot be saying that it's because nowadays, I think, just a quick comment, over a period of time, everything will be digital, right? So digital becomes like the DNA or the backbone for everything. And then it becomes a foundation layer for every industry or every role. So you cannot shy away from that. But then stitching it together, I think that's the key. Interest of time, I'll stop and maybe another candidate delegate.
Dr. Praladji, your short views, short.
Yeah, I'll quickly, summarize on this one. We are talking about, this digital gap. So important is, to understanding what is the right data, metadata actually we need to capture. What is that metadata, which is very, very important in terms of the R&D when it is synthesis chemist will generate, which is more relevant to the engineers, and what engineers should collect the data during the manufacture and process visualization. They should collect it, and there should be relevance on that. So this is number one, that what is the metadata set we are capturing, that should be very, very relevant. It should not be a huge data pool and then end of the day it will generate something which is really not possible in the chemistry world, because it can give that a carbon can bond formation 5. It should not happen in that way, because your data should reflect in real world, and that should create into something which can be achievable. Second thing is the training of the scientists and engineers to understand what is the digital importance and data is required, and how the analytics works. Probably we may not have that strong knowledge at this point of time with our industry in the chemical world, for the engineers and scientists, so they can do more analytics, and analytics software can help them to arrive on a conclusion that yes, this is the right way to develop your process, which can shorten the process development time and give the better business value. And then third one is very important element is things will come from the academia. So how we are collaborating with academia and industry, which can give the right skill set for the future, so that industry will get the right benefit from the very first day itself. So these are the few things probably is very 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 important. It is not only that industry only will start doing the right data and digitalization. The basic understanding should come at the time of academic knowledge itself, like they are learning the chemistry in the academics and which is implemented in the real world. So this is where the few gaps which probably need to be filled up to meet this dream.
Let me thank all our speakers, and now we open it for 10 minutes for a Q&A. So the first question is from Mr. Bhaskar Ray, and he's talking about one of the challenges we have faced as an organization is the need to calibrate the AI-based insights and recommendations from the operational side with the human-defined recommendations, especially on the process side. So I think Gauravji was also talking about the same when he talked about the skill gap part of it. So what should be done to improve the quality of this iterative process of manual correlation and correction? Gauravji, since you were sharing these views, I am posing this question to you.
Yeah, can you? Yeah, yes, please. What was the question?
The question is, how do we how do we improve the quality of this iterative process of manual correlation and correction? So
All right. Yeah. So that.
Yeah, that's what. So
All right. So iterative corrections and iterative process. By virtue, it means that we have to do it again and again. So first, correction in the first place will reduce the iteration. Second, if the process itself requires iteration, that if you have a LIMS data, you have a production data, or if something is like that we have to prove by 3 experiment, and after 3 experiment the result comes same, then only we can say that it is correct. Then we cannot do about it, but we can reduce the manual part in that way that information flows seamlessly from one platform to another platform, and there is very less dependency on the people part, that people are coordinating for the data, and data is available in such a form that we have to do manual entry. So we have to identify workflow end to end, that where is my digital break, and in the digital break, which are the areas data does not seamlessly flow from one application to another application, and within certain application there is a gap where data has to be filled manually, or it has to be so filling that gap will actually reduce a lot of dependency and lot of iteration. This is why, like, at the start of digital transformation, we should do analysis of all of our workflows and decide that this is my as is work process, this will be my to be work process, and in my as is process, this is a set of 10 activities which I do like this, and in to be state, there will be these set of activities which we will be doing, but there will be no digital break, and digital breaks will be removed in these forms. And this will be like, for example, we have to take manual data, we have to take data manually from the LIMS, or if we have to enter the data manually in the LIMS, that process should be eliminated, and this will reduce a lot of iteration. However, I would say that when machines enter the data, or when we have a complete dependency on the machines, we should still have a human judgment and human discretion, that whatever data is populated by machine, we have to introduce in the process that it will be checked by this person, and then only it will be considered as a data which can be used by somebody. As I told you earlier, that for every set of data, for establishing single source of truth, we have to establish a governance as well. So even though we make process agentic, we have to hold a person accountable, that this data has to be okayed or verified, or somebody who is the custodian of this data set. So if we have this, we will eliminate the process of iteration, we will have a process of repetition, and we will also in the process will have a single source of truth. Hope this answers.
The another question, Vyasji, is for you only.
Yeah.
I think you have explained in your earlier answer. We should work on reducing personal dependency on providing data for more reliability. Any thought on this? And I think Mr. Anuj Parasar is saying that we from the equipment itself, the data should come where the data analytics will be helpful, and there on based on the iteration we can get the result. So your short answer, Gaurav.
Sure. So yes, I do believe that more we have a person dependency on providing of data, more there is a chance that it will not be swift, it will not be it may have some errors because humans can of course make some errors. So I do believe that if whatever we can transfer to AI, we should do it, but the judgment or decision making should remain with humans. All mediocrity should transfer to AI.
Thank you, Gaurav. Now we come to Dr. Shirish Thakre. There is a question from Mr. Jayant Kamath. Is the data from an open source? And have you implemented a digital twin in your manufacturing plant? Dr. Shirish.
Yeah. So we have created digital twin for dryers and evaporators, which we have implemented across our manufacturing plants. The way it was done basically was, at R&D level, we generated the fundamental data that is required for this particular equipments, and basically build the hierarchy of models in terms of the digital simulations, data-driven models, and AI ML. And in terms of the integration at the plant, we can't basically touch the DCS system. There is sensitivity and firewalls around DCS. So there is an historian, which is the interface between the plant DCS from where we get the data. And this historian, we fetch the data on something called as a edge computing, which is again a hardware where all our models reside. And that is the way basically the models take the data and put it back, the more information or the response from the models back into the DCS, and that's how the action is taken. So we are using the digital twin offline at R&D level to basically understand that wherever there is a need from the business in terms of productivity increase, energy reduction, and quality improvement, that's an offline. Online at the plant level, we basically, the way it is done is that we integrate with the manufacturing team, the IT team, the instrumentation team who helps us in the implementation of these models. And the way we also basically see its usefulness in terms of creating a dashboards, so that that's the first level, information and operator training we do. Then that's where they start using it offline first, and in terms of the dashboard, and then we basically automate it. So automation has been done partly, but the operator is basically using this digital twin information to do the what if scenarios and understand that there is the process getting shifted or drifted, and what are the variabilities and how to control it. So this is how we have basically been able to do it. So in R&D, we have scientists who generate the basic data. Then we have people who are doing modeling and simulations, and then we also have people who basically are trained into AI ML. So we have an ecosystem developed in terms of development of this digital twin and implementation at the plant.
So thank you, Dr. Shirish Thakre. There was one more question related to this. Is anyone using agentic AI in their company? If yes, what is your experience? So who would like to take this up?
Not an issue, Gaurav. So I'll just give a brief. We have started about 6 months ago. We have started few of the agents. Basically now, like agents, initially 3 months or 6 months before, we we were calling the agent also in the form of chatbots only. So the technology is changing so fast right now. So earlier, what we call it as a chatbot, now it is taking some actions also. So two of the agentic bot we have made. One is for very generic, what we call like as a chatbot only. That is for all the policies, everything. You can ask and it will give you the in NLP. It will give the answer in the shorter form. The second one we have made for manufacturing. So that is very crucial for the maintenance people. So we have a multiple data source in the maintenance. Like one is our CMMS data, another is our IIoT data that is integrated with CMMS data. The third is we have risk-based maintenance RBI data. So that three we have taken all the data set into our management platform, production management platform. There on the top of knowledge graph, we have made one agent that is a prediction of that. There are multiple agent in that. One is the prediction of spare part agent. So any maintenance job, which is any alert is coming, any preventive maintenance is about to come. So automatically the agent go to the SAP and everywhere it can check like next month you have this preventive schedule, but as per BOM, do you have spare or not? If required, like if the service person is required, you mentioned in the service order, if service is required in the month end, so automatically 1 week before it will give you a pop-up like this particular month end maintenance required this bomb as a spare and this service professional you need to call. Have you called that or not? So these kind of maintenance tasks we are doing with agentic AI.
So one more question. Let me take the last question, and this is about the what are the opportunities for the startup to help chemical and petrochemical companies in the transition to AI, especially since everyone wants their own proprietary model. And one more question, I will just whether it is to go for a build model or purchase model. So whether you want to have your own proprietary system or you go for buying one from say companies like Revvity.
I think for smaller organization, they need to, first arrive on the right requirement of, their digital platform. So if that is, done, then probably the right training, and that is very important element. And they should not be investing too much in the new system to be getting into for their something which is already been tested, so they will be having less burden because digital platform will have difference in the various industries. If it is only for the chemical industry, they are in the process innovation and process development. They are not in discovery to distribution. Probably they may not need a very big digital platform which need different sort of data collection, which I call metadata. So they need to start with the proven system which is already been implemented in some of the organization, varies process development or process innovation related thing. So if I correctly understood, somebody is asking this question for the chemical industry. They are working only in the small part of the process innovation, process development part, not to start from the discovery to distribution. They should go with the tested and proven sort of digital platform.
Thank you, sir. Gaurav ji, and then last views from Deepak Kenny.
Yeah, so build versus buy decision answer to me is what is your competitive advantage? Whether build versus buy, whether building leads to a competitive advantage, then of course one should build it. And if it is not, then on the buying part, one should make a decision that whether it costs me more when I build that solution or whether it costs when I buy that solution. But if anything is leading to a competitive advantage, yes, we should build it. Like in our case, if it is adding up to our digital company, then we should of course build it. And if it is leading to any proprietary right which gives us a competitive advantage, we will of course build it, however expensive it may cost. So if I talk about oil and gas industry, like there are various companies which provide maybe best in the industry kind of tools. So people do prefer to buy it, but when we talk about a competitive advantage, many companies like Shell, they prefer to build it, because any product which is not there in the market, and if we are aspiring to innovate, then we of course have to build it. So answer does comes from within, that what is our approach. Do we want to make a proprietary model? Do we want to make something which is leading to a competitive advantage? But after that, the last thing which I would say, if somebody builds, it's not that engineering cost, but the real bill is when after next 5 years, who will maintain it, secure it, and who will be the people who would understand from it after the people who have already built it, they leave the organization. So maintaining a build platform is also a very important task, not just building it. So that's my take on it. Thank you.
Very beautifully answered. Deepak ji, any last thought?
Yeah, just I think all well said. One part is, I believe, also contextual in terms of where you are in your life cycle, right? Because at least in my organization, where we have seen is, at certain points you want quick capability, we'll buy it, but then we feel that capability becomes core, then we might transfer to build, right? So there's no right or wrong answer, but the underlying answer is, can you get speed and agility? I think that is one underlying answer which we need to look at, to say that if it gives you speed and agility, build it. Or if buying gives you that could be one of the filters to look at it. But context is very important. Just to close to that.
So I think it is all about speed, and everybody is running at a fast speed to come up with new products so that they can have a bigger market share and also compete not only in India but also globally. With this thought, I put an end to the panel discussion. Let me thank all our speakers. Dr. Shirish Thakre, President, Fiber and Chemicals Research, Aditya Birla Chemicals. Dr. Prahlad Sharma, Senior VP and Head of R&D, Naveen Fluorine International. Mr. Deepak Kenny, EVP Digital Strategy and Transformation, DFPCL. Mr. Ramesh Dham, Senior General Manager, Digital and IT, Coromandel International. Mr. Gaurav Vyas, Lead Strategy Director's Office, AVP, Reliance Industries. Dr. Manish M. Khandagle, Senior Field Application Specialist, Revvity Signals. Let me also thank all delegates, but before that, let me announce the winners for today's quiz. The first question was related to why is inventory data important beyond material tracking. The answer was C, and the winner is Ketan Gandhi from Adani New Industries Limited. So congratulations, Ketan Gandhi, for the ICN Play and Win context. The second question was with respect to what is the primary purpose of Signals notebook. Here also the answer was C, and the winner is Mr. Dinesh Pandey from UPL University of Sustainable Technology. He is associate professor there. Congratulations, Dinesh Pandey ji. And the third is, what is the biggest barrier to leveraging AI effectively in process R&D? Here also the answer was C, and the winner is Mihir Kinariwala from ScienceCo. He is a production engineer out there. So congratulations to all the three winners, Ketan Gandhi ji, Dinesh Pandey ji, and Mihir Kinariwala. Let me once again thank all my delegates. The gift vouchers for the winners will be sent electronically. And let me thank my team, ICN, for taking up all the questions and trying to answer all your queries. And I would also like to thank my speakers who gave their time to educate you and also empower you at the same time by answering all your queries. So with this, you can rate us also on a scale of 1 to 5. Where do we stand? 1 at the lowest level and 5 on the highest. So those delegates who are out there, please do rate us so that, and if you have any comments to make, please feel free to add so that we can improve upon it going forward. So thank you once again, sir, all my speakers once again. And we will meet again. Till then, thanks and Jai Hind.